d'un autre côté, vous l'avez dit, les députés de la droite populaire ont payé un certain nombre de faits d'opposition, tout simplement, parce que, M. Lamour le rappelait, l'UMP est très composite, et qu'il y a à la fois une partie un peu plus à droite et une partie au centre-droit, et que la défaite à la fois s'explique aussi par aujourd'hui cette absence d'incarnation du centre-droite et le fait que certains...
Hey everyone, just thought I'd show you a new receiver in my collection of radios. It's a JRC NRD-525, and at first I really wasn't sure why I needed this radio, but then I kind of realized I did need a sort of quote-unquote serious tabletop in which to use for, from anywhere from medium wave transatlantic reception up to high frequency utility and number station reception, etc., etc., as well as shortwave broadcast listening. It's helpful to practice my French by listening to Radio France International. They usually have quite a few broadcasts available at any point, so it's nice to be able to do that. I picked up this radio from a fellow in British Columbia, and I spent quite a time looking for them. They're kind of thin on the ground, really. It took me a while to find this one. It took me a while, rather, not to find this one, but to find one in good cosmetic condition, i.e. this one. It seems like quite a few of them pick up scratches on their top and bottom covers, as it seems like the paint was applied pretty thinly. And but this one actually doesn't have any scratches anywhere. It's really quite amazing. Just a small scratch on the NVA88 speaker that I have with it, which, considering this thing is 21 years old, is incredible. I usually use my ICOM IC703 for general coverage services, but the filtration options were kind of lacking. Even with a narrow SSB filter, it still lacked that ultimate rejection that I was really looking for, in terms, especially when dealing with crowded shortwave bands at night. And it also had a pass filter which severely attenuated all medium wave frequencies, which obviously kind of put a lid on being able to use it for transatlantic DX work. So I picked up this guy, and I've been really enjoying it. It's a wonderful receiver. I haven't had any of the troubles really with with any sort of internally generated hiss or noise. This is a later radio. This is serial number, and this is the 46,000 range. And so people have said JRC didn't affect some fixes to both the AGC and the audio on later examples. And this one, both with the included NV88 speaker and headphones, I really haven't had a problem with hiss. It's actually been a pretty quiet receiver for me. And the AGC is also, it's pretty good. It's not fantastic, but it's not as bad as what I've heard about some of the more earlier examples. Fast AG can be a little spastic, I guess, at times. Can be a little too fast, which is problematic when you're trying to null a station when you're using it for AM reception. If you're trying to null a station, perhaps for transatlantic work, or to hear another station behind it, and there's a lot of fading on that station, so the S meter's moving around like crazy. It's tough to find when you're actually nulling the station, but other than that, it hasn't been too much of a problem. It's actually, the slow AGC is nice if you have a strong signal, and it has a little bit of fading on it. So if on the fast AGC, you get a lot of you get a little bit of pumping in the audio. So you just set it to slow, and it's fine. No big deal whatsoever. There are modifications that can fix this, but the radio is in such nice cosmetic shape that I'm really hesitant about taking it apart. Not exactly something I want to do on something this nice. But if I ever did modify this radio, at the very least I put in a narrow filter of some sort. I think I'd probably just put in a narrower sideband filter for just a little bit more rejection. I have a Autech Research QF1A, which works great for a CW filter. It really does, especially the peak function. It's fantastic. And I'd maybe affect the AGC modification that many people performed these and have reported good results with. But it has a fair few number of features. It has a 3-stage dimmer switch. One of the settings does extinguish the display entirely, which is nice. If you just kind of want to, if it's at nighttime and you're about to go to bed and you want to drift off to your favorite station but don't want the display lighting up your room, it's nice to be able to shut it off. RIT monitoring, if you use this with a transmitter, 2 clocks, so you can set one to local time, one to UTC. A timer function which allows you to shut off the radio at a predetermined time. You have scan features as well as sweep, and the run button also doubles as changing the tuning step on the main VFO, which is very nice. Noise blanker, haven't really run any. Thankfully, this area is relatively low noise, so I haven't really run into any time where I need to use it. The passband tuning, which allows you to sweep up, allows you to move the passband by up to 1 kHz, which is very effective, especially when helping to cut down interference when doing transatlantic medium wave work, and you have a 50 kilowatt blowtorch to either sideband view. The squelch, which is very handy when it comes to, let's say you're monitoring the EAM network on 11175 kilohertz, and you don't want to sit there listening to static while you wait for a message to be broadcast. Turn up the squelch to just above the noise level, and the radio will break squelch when a broadcast starts. Same thing is great for number stations if you know the number station frequency ahead of time. Notch filter. Notch filter is actually quite good, not as good as the QF1A, but certainly able to null a carrier or a heterodyne beat note very effectively. If it's extremely strong, you may hear a slight trace of it, but it'll be reduced so much that it'll be a very small annoyance at the very most. Tone control, which is relatively effective, more so effective with when you're in more narrower filters, especially when using sideband. Kiwa does offer a modification for this. It's called their tone tilt. Some people say it's worth it. It's up to you, really. The BFO, which is only active in CW mode, you have the RIT for all of the other modes. The only thing that bothers me about RIT is that when you hit the RIT, let me show you. If you hit the RIT and let's say you want, you want to offset it by 0.15 kilohertz, it won't go back to the frequency. You can't tune the frequency with the preset RIT effective. You have to turn the RIT off to see the frequency again, which is a slight annoyance. A lot of amateur radio transceivers I know have the ability to have the RIT set at a preset amount, and then you can continue to band scan as usual. But it's a minor annoyance. Up here you have your controls for mode, which over here, swing over, AM, lower sideband, upper sideband, CW, RTTY, fax data mode, and FM, which is bandwidth fixed at the bandpass of 12 kilohertz. And then you have your bandwidth. I believe the auxiliary filter is 12 kilohertz. The wide, I think, is 6. Don't quote me on this, though. And I think the intermediate is 4. I don't have a narrow filter installed at the moment. Might do it sometime in the future. This up and down allows you to manually step through the band if you like to. And the lock button locks frequency. And then you have your keypad, which is one of the reasons why in the end I realized that I did need this radio. It's nice if you're, let's say, sitting in an IRC chat channel. Wait, that's redundant. If you're sitting in an IRC channel and it's for monitoring, let's say you're doing like, for example, the one club, WUN club, CLUB, and someone calls out a frequency, you don't have to pinwheel with your VFO knob to get to where you need to be. You just punch it in, hit enter, and there you are. And it's quite convenient to be able to do that. This also has memory channels. I'm not sure how many. I think it's 200. I don't really use memory channels so much, especially because schedules are changing so often. It's kind of like it'd be kind of an annoyance to have to reprogram the radio every time a new broadcast schedule comes out every half year. So I'll let you listen to this in the next segment because I'm just about to run out of memory space. Be back in a second.